Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to hone all of our cylinders so that we have a nice surface that we can measure from, so we can make sure that if they're out of round, we know about it. We're very cheap, so we're not actually going to do anything about it if they are out of round, but we're going to know. So yeah, I'll walk you through everything. So first of all, we're going to say it's set up so that the first bank of cylinders is facing vertically, and then we'll start from there. All right, there's a bunch of different things you can use for this. We are using this here 4-inch dingler baller. Yeah, we have ourselves our drill and our little dingle ball. So the goal is to have the dingle ball travel up and down at the same rate that it's spinning. So you actually want to keep it at a pretty low speed, and you're going to want to punch it in and out pretty quickly. The other thing to keep in mind is you're going to definitely want lots of lubrication. Spray down the cylinders really well, and then we're going to do our dingle. So you can see here we've got some pretty gnarly surface rust on this particular cylinder. We're going to try to clean that up until we don't see it anymore. Should be pretty good. The cylinders look like they're in pretty good shape, so we're going to try to get them in very good shape, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Time to begin. Alright, we got rid of a majority of that rust. So yeah, it looks really actually pretty good. We don't want to remove a lot of material. We're not using precision tools here. Probably going to switch to time lapse now that you know how it's done, and we'll come back when we're all done with the rest of the cylinders. Came out pretty good. This one hole has some schmutz still. You can still see a little bit of rust through there, and a little bit on this side too. But it's good enough. Now we get on to the expensive part. Tools you probably don't own, but that you potentially could find a way to rent. I don't know. Measurement tools are normally really hard to find rentals for because they're really easily damaged and they're quite expensive. The two tools we have today, we have a dial indicator, which is set up with a bore gauge here. It actually has several different settings of lengths that you can use. Our engine has a 4-inch bore. Happens to be the same for a 302 as it is for a 350, if you care. Anyway, the measurement of bore is the size of the hole that the piston goes in. So this is supposed to be 4 inches on an unmachined engine. Now this has two parts. You have your spacer part here, and then you have your actual plunger. This little plunger, as it goes in and out, the dial moves. So what that means is you need to be able to zero that to some degree of accuracy. So you need a caliper. I happen to have this somewhat expensive manual caliper. It doesn't have any batteries or anything because I don't like batteries. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it to exactly 4 inches. So we're going to get as close to 4 as we can, and then we're going to use this dial here, put it right at the 0, and then we're going to lock that down. We're just going to mount it in the vise very gently and carefully with a piece of cloth so we don't actually break anything. And we're going to just crank it down until it's pretty solid. We don't really want to put any real effort on it, but once it gets about solid, we're good. The steps we've done so far. We set this to 4 inches exactly, and we've mounted it in the vise. So what we're going to do, we have these two little arrows here that we can move around wherever we want. I think we can also twist the face of this, again, wherever we want. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set this in here and we're gonna find the spot where the needle stops traveling. So as we push it in there more, it travels more and then it stops. And we're gonna find that exact spot and we're gonna twist the face of the dial so that the 0 right here is exactly where that stops. It'll be exactly 4 inches. And then based on what we measure in the engine, we'll either add or subtract whatever our measurement is from that, and that will be our measurement. It'll make more sense in a minute. So we're gonna stick it on in there, and we're gonna do a sweep. We're just gonna pull it up and sweep it, and we're gonna measure exactly where it stops. So right where it stops, it is right about there. Which looks to be about 3.5 thousandths over. So it's way over 4 inches, and as I compress it, it'll get to 4 inches and then it'll go below 4 inches. So anything on the right hand side of 0, you're gonna subtract that number from 4 inches to get your measurement. Anything on the left hand side of 0, you're gonna add that number to get your measurement. So we're gonna do the rest of the measurements, and I'm just gonna yell them out, and then I'm gonna write them all down afterwards so we can compare them to the spec and see how we did. Cylinder number 1, 3 at the top, 4.5 at the top, and then we're gonna go to the bottom of the bore, 3 at the bottom, 3.5 at the bottom. So this is cylinder number 2, 3.5, also about 3.5, 2.5, 2.5. Cylinder number 3, 3.5 at the top, 5 at the top, 4 at the bottom, and 3 at the bottom. On to cylinder 4, 2.5 at the top, 4, 3 on the bottom, 2.5 the other direction on the bottom. Cylinder 5, 5 at the top, 3 also at the top, 3 at the bottom, 3.5 at the bottom. All right, on to cylinder 6, 3 at the top, 4.5 at the top, 3 at the bottom, 2.5 at the bottom. Cylinder number 7, 3.5 at the top, 4.5 at the top, 3.5 at the bottom, 2.5 at the bottom. On to cylinder 8, 3 at the top, 4.5 at the top, 3 at the bottom, 3 at the bottom. Pretty decent. 3 and 5 are actually the worst 2 cylinders of the whole engine. The largest 2 cylinders, I guess worst is kind of relative. We're gonna compare the numbers to an out of round spec and a piston to cylinder wall clearance spec. We're also gonna have to measure all of our pistons. Piston number 1, 39.99. Piston number 2, 39.99. Piston number 3, the same, 39.99. Piston number 4, 39.99. Piston number 5, 39.98. Piston number 6, right at 4 looks like. Piston number 7, 39.99. Piston number 8, 39.99. So the only one that's smaller is cylinder 5. All right, there you go. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more, go look at the playlist that all of the project updates for this car in particular are on. So go check it out if you're bored. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Isa the big bad Cletus.
Handsome man. Handsome man.